Alright. Today we got something different. We're in EVE Online, which I've been playing since 2009, but I don't really play it all that often, and I have an alpha account. But they've given out 5 days of Omega, which I've taken advantage of to fly a little bit with Tengu, and there's a new event going on, or a new patch or whatever, and there's some drifters here. So drifters used to be only wormhole rats, and what's happening now, I guess in the story, is that they've somehow managed to get out of the wormholes, which is not ideal. So what I wanted to do is to run a few of these sites and see what's up. I saw a video of some guy running a Cerberus. Oh no, there's nothing here. Alright, so the drifters, yeah. There used to be in wormholes, and I've seen a lot of them when I used to live in wormholes, but I haven't been really playing all that hardcore since at least the 2010s. And what's happening now is they've managed to get out of the wormholes. I don't know, I'm not really keeping up the story, and I really wanted to take a look at it to see what's up with it. And like I said, I saw some guy running a Cerberus with some heavy assault missiles, and I was itching to fly my Tengu again because Alpha account cannot fly Tengus. And finally got some 5 days of free Omega, and let's do it. And what I wanted to do is I already ran a site, and they're pretty tough. And you can see here we got 3 types of missiles. We got the regular... Oh, no, it's so... Man. It's really hard to find one of these sites. Anyway, you join me again when I find an actual site that we can actually run. Alright, I guess we found a site that we can run. There was a Gila here, but he left. So, oh well. Yeah, as I was saying, I wanted to try out the different missiles to see which one's more effective. I tried the Fury. The Fury doesn't really work on the smaller guys because they're too small. So what I'm going to do is I currently have... let's load in the Precisions, because that's the one I have not run before. And they just run off for whatever reason. It's strange the way they work, and they do newt, which is one of the biggest problems. But you know, if you're running like a passive tank or something, you'll be okay. They don't do a whole lot of DPS, except for the battleship at the end. The battleship does hit quite hard. And if you're doing a drone setup, apparently they do attack drone as well. They don't have logistics support like they would in the wormholes, which is nice. So let's see how the precision missiles perform. Yeah, so it does perform quite better. The standard missile does about like 82, 81 per tick, depending on how fast they're moving. So they are running quite fast here. So they're about like sometimes 1,000 or so on the frigates. So these do perform at least 50% better, which is really nice. So I would say precision missile is good for at least the frigates. The cruisers though, I tried Fury on those. That does not work at all. So I would imagine the precisions will work quite well. And I do believe these pay enough to really make it worth your time with the Tech 2 missiles if you got them. Now obviously if you don't have the Tech 2 missiles, the standard missile does okay as well. I would not recommend Furies on these guys, that would be just a waste. So I would say go with standard missile, and if you have faction launchers, that may help better, even more, because they do shoot a little bit faster. And the other guy I was watching a video of was using a Cerberus with heavy assault missiles. I mean, it worked okay for him, and the DPS comes out to be about the same. So with the standard missiles, I was doing about 560. Yeah, so with the precisions, I'm doing 560. With the Furies, I'm doing like 760-ish, and it does melt through the battleship quite fast. You will see that when we get to it. But currently, we are going pretty fast through these guys. Look, we're doing 220 per 2 missiles, so that's pretty good. Let's see how it performs on the cruisers. The cruisers, they do newt quite a little bit more. Currently, they are not catching up to me just yet to be able to newt me, so I will be careful of that. So if you can keep range, that would be really good. I think they newt within 10 kilometers, 15 maybe. I'm not entirely sure if these guys are the exact same as the wormhole sleepers, but who knows? We'll see. So we're doing 337 per hit, yeah. So the precision missiles do outperform the standard missiles. So if you got them, use them. And let's see, because I do remember every single wave newts. The battleship does not. So let's see. Can we go through them just yet? I don't think so. Yeah, we've got a couple more of these bad guys here. They do come in and they jump away. They like the micro warp drive away or something. I don't know how it works. Maybe sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Apparently these guys don't. See, he's nuding me. So I'm gonna priority this guy here. And I'm going to reload. Yeah, so nuding is a bit of a pain because I'm running an active setup. You can take a look at my setup here. I just have a regular Tengu, nothing crazy here. It's an old fit that I had. Seems to be working okay though. Okay, alright, let's focus on the guy that's nuding us. You know, capacitor management has always been a pain. Or a very important aspect of the game anyway, so let's see how we're doing with this. We're doing 393, so that's good. He's not moving that fast. That helps. Luckily this time the smaller ones are not nuding me. Last time when I run this, everybody was nuding me. 4 of them on me was pretty tough. Although I was still able to keep up pretty well. So maybe the nudes aren't that strong, but I still wouldn't risk it. Because I would be really pay attention to making sure you're managing the range, you're doing all the right things, and also I'm running away from the gate there. I wasn't paying attention last time. I was like ended up 50 or something kilometers away from the gate. But it's so funny to see sleepers in known space. Back in the day, it was only wormholes, and they had quite sophisticated logistics, especially with higher class wormholes, and it's really a challenge to beat these guys. And even here, I think these are a little bit more tougher, or a little bit more hard, a little bit hard to deal with than regular rats, obviously, especially in high-sec space. So make sure you are prepared for a fight here. And these guys, they don't have a whole lot of effective HP, but they do have very, very high resistances. And the problem is that there's not a whole lot of information on these guys other than just some resistance and also some damage percentage, but it doesn't really tell you what a signature radius is, how fast they're moving, and all that stuff. You just need to pay attention, obviously. And also, don't fly anything you can't afford to lose, obviously. You know, I would prefer not to lose my Tengu, but if I lose it, I have a couple more. But let's see if we can take this guy down fast. So he is taking quite a bit of damage, and obviously a lot of them just has only armor. I don't think there's any with shields. All right, next gate, let's go. It's been a while since I played though. It's been like at least 10 years since I've seen last sleeper. And I remember living in the wormhole. Oh, do reload when you trigger the gate. Living in wormholes, it was like we had dreadnoughts and stuff taking out sleepers. Alright, so the second pocket here, we do have a sentry. It hits okay. I would not care about it too much. I wouldn't waste your ammunition on it. I just go around and circle it, see what we get. And even if it hits you, whatever, it doesn't do a lot much damage. It's 500 something damage, but it shoots so slow, you wouldn't need to worry about it. And plus, this doesn't give any bounty, so it's just waste of ammo, really. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set up a... This hits about as hard as the battleship will. So if you can tank this, no problem. The battleship would not be a big deal. But the battleship does have a lot of HP, so it takes a while to burn through it if you don't have the Fury missiles. And I also while I was running around to look at what people are doing with this stuff, I saw some guy with a golem running it. I'm like, that's a little bit of overkill, isn't it? But then again, you know what they say in EVE Online? If it's worth killing, it's worth overkilling. So, I mean, whatever works for you, but I would say like the amount of time it takes to get a golem into one of these sites, you know, you have to jump through at least a couple of different sites, at least a couple of different systems to find one of these sites. It would take so long to just find something. And especially now, I think people are really running these hard. I need to run at least 10, 15 systems before I can find one that's empty. So people are very, very keen on these sites. So I wouldn't say a battleship is the way to go. Maybe a battlecruiser if you're a slightly newer player where you don't really get access to high-tech ships. But I think, so the video I watched was a guy running a Cerberus. The Cerberus is probably okay, but I thought he ran it a little bit slow. slower than I had anticipated, than I would have expected anyway. And make sure you fit an Afterburner so you can actually pull range. You know what? You don't even bother, because these guys move so fast. Look how fast they're going. You cannot possibly pull range on these guys. So, but keeping up angular velocity is always good anyway. So just make sure they miss you a little bit, especially on the battleships. If you can't tank that kind of damage, it's good to just outrun his guns, or run under his guns, I suppose that's what it's called. Yeah, so these guys are not super tough. They're okay. Obviously, they are a lot tougher than your normal rats that you will find in your level 1 or 2 sites. But they're nothing compared to... I know they have like the anomic agents, or the... what is that called? Edencom stuff? I've never done an Edencom site. I don't know if that stuff is really tough, but apparently they got the sophisticated logistics as well, and the crazy logic, or the... what was that Sansha emerging Sansha event back in the day? Is that still happening? I don't know. All right, let's see. What are we doing? Yeah, so we do need to kill it, which is annoying. So I'm going to load the Fury, just so we can get this over with quickly. Let's see if the Fury does full damage on these. I don't actually know. But usually structures have gigantic signature anyway, and they're not going anywhere, so we should be doing full damage with the Furies. No, we don't. Look, we're only doing 200 something. So let's go ahead and just load in standard ones. Because otherwise it's just a waste of time. Waste of money, really. Let's see. Because last time I did the standard missiles on these guys. And they are pretty... beefy, this thing. It takes a while to take these guys down. Let's see how much damage we're doing here. Yeah, 352. So we were doing 200 something before. We're doing 350 something now. Much better. And these missiles are a lot cheaper than the Tech 2 stuff. Yeah, so they're 71 ISK, 72 ISK per missile versus 552 ISK. And again, these numbers aren't exactly accurate, but it gives you a good reference. And look, so now with the standard missiles, I'm doing 566 DPS, or 530 with the reload, which is more than sufficient to run these guys. So if you're doing anything close to it, probably anything over 400, you'd be okay, as long as you can tank their damage and deal with the newts. The DU war really is the main issue here. Alright, there we go. We got our friend here. So let's go ahead and load in our Fury to take out the battleship. And these guys look really cool. Oh, right. And they had those sleepers coming around in known space to scan stuff, right? So I'm guessing that's part of the story here. So you can see here we're doing 922 damage per 2 missiles, and we're just melting through the armor pretty fast. So I think the only thing that could be a challenger for any decently experienced player would be the battleship. But then again, I'm not that experienced. Just a really, really old tune. But it's nice to see sleepers. You can actually fight. I mean, you can kill those scanners or whatever, seekers, right? I think that's what they're called. So you can kill those, I'm sure. But more of them show up, but they don't really drop anything, as far as I can tell. But you see, we're just melting through this guy. So that's pretty good. Let's see the description on these guys. Yeah, so battleship class ship. And these are pretty good bounty for high sec combat set rats, you know? So this is what, 475. The frigates are 50,000 to 100,000. And obviously the loot is good. I don't know what the salvage is like though. I don't have salvage gear. Let's see what we get. And also the loots don't have any prices on them just yet, because we don't really have a whole lot of them on the market. We got some T2 salvage, which is cool. We got some fireworks, which is nice. I don't know what these things are. They're not worth anything, at least not now. Muon, Cosmic Resonance. Where was that 6 million come from? Just the blueprints? Which one's worth that much money? Oh, I guess just a tech to salvage here. Yeah, so that's what we got from this site. And that's how you do one of these sites and how I do one of these sites. So let me know how you feel. Let me know if you got better build, better fit. And yeah, if you have anything else to say about EVE Online, if you want to see more EVE Online, let me know. And have a fantastic day. Happy hunting, and fly safe. Bye-bye.